This is the terrifying true story of the Byron Bay Butcher. In August of 2025, Australian travel influencer Harry Street was in Byron Bay filming content for his channel. He'd rented a house just north of the town center, Airbnb, that sat high up on a hill overlooking the beach below. Harry was there by himself, which was actually the whole point of the trip. He wanted to make a video about how a guy could have a relaxing solo vacation. On the first day, he posted a vlog showing the beautiful home and its amenities. He went surfing, got a massage, and dined out at some restaurants. It was everything a travel influencer would do. But behind the scenes, something was off. Harry mentioned feeling uneasy in his vlog, saying he couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching him. It was a weird feeling, he said, and it kept coming back. But he dismissed it and finished filming his travel vlog. Then at 2:03 a.m., as he slept in the master bedroom, he heard someone or something tapping at his window. He opened the curtains and looked outside, but saw nothing. There were no houses near the property. Only the beach stretched below his Airbnb, which was quite far from the water. Harry filmed a video of the empty beach, the wind whipping through the palm trees, but no sounds of people or cars. Later that morning, he checked his security camera footage, and what he saw made the hairs on the back of his neck stand up. Standing outside his window was a tall, thin man wearing a long black coat. He had no shirt underneath, and his shoes were untied. He was barefoot. The man stared directly into the window, but he didn't tap it. He stood perfectly still for almost an hour, looking inside the house. Harry felt a chill as he watched the video. Why was this man outside his window? What did he want? And why didn't he knock the door or ring the bell? Harry decided not to think about it too much. Maybe the man needed help, he thought. So he deleted the footage and moved on with his day. But when the next day came around, more creepy things started to happen. Harry started receiving messages from girls who lived in the area. They told him about strange things that had been happening since he arrived. 3 days before Harry had come to Byron Bay, 3 different women had received the same thing: a small bundle of fresh wildflowers tied up with a blue and white ribbon. Tucked inside the flowers were 2 handwritten notes. One read, "I watched you sleep," while the other said, "Don't turn off the lights." The notes were written on plain paper with a black marker. None of the handwriting matched. All the women had received them at their homes, some tied to their front door, others stuffed under their windshield wipers. The local police had investigated, but they said they weren't linking the 2 incidents together, which was kind of strange. Byron Bay is a popular destination for influencers and celebrities. Just weeks before Harry arrived, supermodel Miranda Kerr had stayed at the same Airbnb. In fact, it was rumored to be her favorite place in the world. When she was there, she also received flowers, according to the Daily Mail. As these stories circulated around town, locals grew nervous. They knew exactly why Harry had gotten those flowers. Byron Bay was infamous for a local legend. People called him the Byron Bay Butcher, and he was rumored to be a serial killer who operated somewhere in the area. Between 1977 and 2009, more than 60 women had disappeared across the north coast of New South Wales. The oldest case was from June 1977. 21-year-old flight attendant from Sydney named Narelle Cox was last seen hitchhiking along the Pacific Highway. She was heading north to Byron Bay. Her body was found a few months later on Christmas Day, buried in a shallow grave. Then in 1989, another young woman vanished. 23-year-old Susan Keeley was hitchhiking near Ballina, about 25 miles south of Byron Bay. A witness saw her get into the back of a car, but that was the last time anyone saw her alive. Her body was found in a rural area 8 years later. Another victim was 24-year-old Rose Howell. She was last seen getting into a yellow taxi in Suffolk Park, just north of Byron Bay. It was April 2003. The taxi driver saw her get out and walked toward the beach. She was never seen again. The police never confirmed that all these cases were linked, but locals believed they were, and many pointed fingers at the same man. In every case, the killer reportedly left behind flowers and wrote a note to taunt the family. This is why when Harry received those notes and flowers, everyone in Byron Bay knew what it meant. The police didn't seem to, though. After speaking to the women who received the notes, they said they weren't linking it to the past disappearances either. But one woman in particular knew exactly who it was. Her name was Evie. She was 48 years old, and she had a story that was straight out of a horror movie. It was the middle of the night, and Evie was fast asleep in her bed when she heard a loud thump at her front door. She woke up immediately and peeked out of her bedroom doorway. Standing right in front of her was a tall, thin man wearing a long black coat. He wasn't breathing, she said. His eyes were wide and soulless. She screamed and backed away, hiding in her room. The man didn't say anything. He slowly walked over to her door and asked, "Are you Lisa?" Evie shook her head, still screaming, and he left just as quickly as he'd come in. That was in 1997. For the longest time, she assumed it was a one-off, a crazy person who mistakenly knocked on the wrong door. But then he came back a few months later and asked the same thing. "Are you Lisa?" But it wasn't just him asking the question. Other men did it too. Over the next decade, more than a dozen men would ask if she was Lisa, but none of them ever entered her house. By the time the incident with Harry happened, Evie had moved to a new home in the area. But when she saw the video on his channel, she instantly recognized the man in the long coat. It was the same one from her house. 28 years later, he hadn't aged a day. With the new evidence, Evie went to the police. Finally, they connected the dots, and so did the internet. The video and pictures of the man went viral. Everyone started talking about it on Reddit and TikTok. Some said it was the ghost of the Byron Bay Butcher, haunting the town for his next kill. Others said he might have been alive all along. After all, if the killer had been active between 1977 and 2009, he could be anywhere from 50 to 80 years old. Then there were those who believed he was a serial killer who'd taken a break until recently. Was he back for round two? There were similar sightings throughout 2024. A man reported staring at fans and campers, leaving flowers and tapping on the windows at night. Some believed it was him casing the place for his next target. And then Harry disappeared. After going viral, he took down his channel. All of his videos were deleted from the platform, including the one where he talked about the creepy man in the long coat. On his final post, though, he shared a picture of his window. It was dark inside the house, but there was a faint reflection of a pale face staring back. He captioned the image, "He's still here. I hear him tapping." The Airbnb was immediately delisted from the rental site. No one has stayed there since. In the weeks since, more flowers and notes have appeared across Byron Bay, the messages just as creepy as before. "I watched you sleep," they read. "Don't turn off the lights." Locals are convinced the butcher is back in town and he's hunting again. Now you know the story of the Byron Bay Butcher. Do you believe the man in the window was really him? Or is there another explanation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you soon.